Great pleasure to announce that Her Excellency Dr. Insinyur Siti Nurbaya Bakar, MSc, Minister of Environment and Forestry of the Republic of Indonesia, or Kementerian Lingkungan Hidup dan Kehutanan RI, is here with us today. Reflecting on the strong bonds between Netherlands and Indonesia, not only at the state level, but also at personal level, Ibu Siti Nurbaya Bakar is a proud alumni of Twente University. She was graduated in the Netherlands in 1988 from the prestigious International Institute for Aerospace Survey and Earth Sciences, or ITC. Her knowledge, experiences, and wisdoms empowers her to achieve greatly as a woman leader and continuously address complex and highly challenging tasks on the national, transnational, and global environmental forestry, including climate changes that induce environmental disaster within her mandate in the past 7 years. We take note, Ibu, on your principal thoughts during the Climate Adaptation Summit at the Ministerial Dialogue January 2021, in which humanity are undetachable from adaptation actions and relates directly with the national resilience. We are very pleased and honored to invite Ibu Siti Nurbaya Bakar to take the stage and further share her inspirational keynotes. Silakan, Ibu.
Terima kasih, thank you Iriana. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Excellencies, Minister Cora van Nieuwenhuizen, I do thank you very much for appreciating President Joko Widodo. Ambassador Lambert Grins, Ambassador Mayer Vaz, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, dames en heren, goedemorgen. First of all, I would like to extend my appreciation to the Dutch Embassy for convening the winner program early this year addressing the issue of adaptation to climate change. I believe the winner program is one of the beautiful moments when we happily share collaboration, research, and education between our two countries, not only between the two governments, but also the two societies. 2 years ago, I spoke before the reception of King Days of the Netherlands in Jakarta, and I would love to repeat my words that I learned from the Netherlands, as mentioned also by Iriana, along with the great memories of my life in ITC Enschede, which later becomes part of my life in Enschede, which later become part of University of Twente in 1985, and I back in 1987 to 1988 when I did my master degree. There I learned science and on rural and land ecology, which have proven very instrumental in my work as Minister of Environment and Forestry now. I also learned the social life of the Dutch through my sporting activities and my interaction with the neighborhoods, where I saw how water management is working very well, how seabird conservation is well governed by the government, and even how a new province is developed through reclamation process. I witnessed that the Dutch government is very efficient in achieving the prosperity of its citizens. I miss the Netherlands, I miss Enschede. Taking this good opportunity, please accept my personal best wishes to the people of the Netherlands for the preparation of the election day next week. It is now my great honor to share Indonesia's views on the climate adaptation actions, as well as milestones that we already achieved in making adaptation to climate change works in Indonesia. Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, we have already felt the impact of climate change. The occurrence of more frequent extreme climates with higher rainfall and longer droughts indicates that there needs to be a change in development planning. Development without considering climate change will increase material and non-material losses. Indonesia is a country that is vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. Natural disasters related to hydrometeorology are increasingly frequent and cause economic and non-economic losses. This pressure is getting heavier with the COVID-19 pandemic, which has paralyzed in global economy and may potentially slow climate change actions down on the ground. This situation leads to the awareness that it is more important to manage susceptibility. We need to adapt to a new normal global health landscape and a more extreme climate simultaneously. As an archipelagic country, Indonesia is very affected by the impact of climate change. 90% of the natural disasters that occur in Indonesia are hydrometeorological related disasters, which are greatly influenced by climate change. This condition is also a challenge in itself for agricultural production, which in turn will affect economic condition and social life. Therefore, Indonesia regards climate change adaptation as an important as climate change mitigation in its NDC, in which to achieve the three areas of resilience, namely, first, economic resilience, secondly, social and livelihood resilience, and thirdly, ecosystem and landscape resilience. On the economic resilience, we cover the issue of sustainable agricultural practices, renewable energy, and sustainable consumption and production. We promote sustainable food estates responding to food crisis risk. We implement circular economy by utilizing waste for industrial raw material and recently started to substitute coal for electricity. On the social and livelihood resilience, we cover community awareness and preparedness for natural disasters, early warning system, public participation, and law enforcement. On the ecosystem and landscape resilience, we address integrated watershed and marine ecosystem management, social forestry, and promoting climate-friendly cities and villages. In 2020, we have planted 15,000 hectares of mangrove and to be scaled up to 600,000 hectares. We also prioritize climate-friendly village program or PROCLIM, which involve communities' participation at the site level. Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, from the regulatory side, action on adaptation is legally mandated by our law on environmental protection and management and stated in the 2020 to 2024 midterm development plan. The adaptation NDC roadmap is being developed to provide direction towards the achievement of the adaptation NDC by 2030. Guidelines and tools have been prepared in the context of implementing climate change adaptation at the site level. The PROCLIM is one of the national programs managed by the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, which aims to increase the involvement of the community and other stakeholders to strengthen climate change adaptation capacity and reduce greenhouse gas emissions, as well as to provide recognition of climate change actions that have been implemented that improve welfare at the local level in the accordance with regional conditions. Currently, there are approximately 3,000 locations of PROCLIM in 33 provinces, in 247 district cities, and it is expected that by 2024, it can be escalated to 20,000 locations through 8 strategies, namely strengthening local government capacity, strengthening community capacity, forging multi-stakeholders partnerships, encouraging leadership at the local level, encouraging stakeholders' commitment, disseminating success, increasing the development and adaptation of appropriate technology, and encouraging the optimization of potential funding sources. For this particular matter, I would like to invite and collaborate all of the Netherlands alumni in the Kampung Iklim program. In funding our climate actions, we have established BPDLH, so-called an environment fund, which will function to manage domestic, international, public, and private funds for the environment and climate change. As we believe that large resources are required to increase our capacity in achieving resilience to climate change, the establishment of BPDLH is expected to support the achievement of NDCs. Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia is diverse, not only in terms of biological diversity, but also cultural diversity. As one of the most ethnically diverse societies, Indonesia consists of 1,300 ethnic groups that are native to the archipelago. These diverse societies are our strength in achieving our development goal as well as environmental management, where there are local knowledge and wisdoms that can be promoted. To facilitate information, knowledge, local wisdom, and best practices exchanges for stakeholders of various professions and diverse community groups, youth, interfaith group, academia, activists, official, businesses, etc., we have developed a weekly multi-stakeholder forum, so-called Climate Corner, which is very active in the last 5 years. The Climate Corner is a multi-stakeholders discussion forum that has been present since early 2016. This forum has become a forum for discussion between related ministries, institutions, professional associations, business actors, academics, and the general public to actualize and articulate climate change policies, as well as disseminate disseminate information on best practices as effort for managing climate change in all sectors. During 2020, the Climate Corner had been able to involve citizens from 34 provinces in Indonesia and show real communities action at the local level in managing climate change through 42 discussion sessions, almost all of which were conducted virtually, involving 150 resources persons. Climate Corner social media channels are growing with almost 5,800 followers at Instagram and 613 YouTube followers. The Climate Corner also cooperates with youth in commemorating the 2020 Youth Pledge Day with the theme Climate Change We Pledge. This event was able to bring 70% of millennial participants aged between 17 to 20 years of age. The government of the Netherlands, through its embassy in Jakarta, is welcome to take part in the Climate Corner program and even to collaborate in the real action of climate change control. Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude my remark, let me emphasize the importance of adaptation and the needs for across sectors and even between countries. Commitment, continuous effort on adaptive and low carbon technological innovation, as well as financial and capacity building support are needed to better build climate resilience and emission reductions towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Actually, I should like to have a little bit more of your attention now for watching a short movie concerning program Kampung Iklim in Indonesia. And don't forget, I invite all the Netherlands alumni to involve and collaborate in this program. For your kind attention, I thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Climate change has become a real environmental phenomenon. Despite of our awareness, it also becomes one of the biggest threats for human beings in the future. In Indonesia, more than 2,000 villages and towns have done some anticipations regarding the effect of this climate change through a national program called Proklim or Program Kampung Iklim.
Komitmen nasional kita. Jadi yang pertama kita menyadari negara Indonesia adalah negara kepulauan, banyak pulau-pulau kecil yang ada di sana. Dengan adanya peningkatan suhu temperatur bumi ini akan berpengaruh terhadap kenaikan permukaan air laut. Ini sehingga akan berpengaruh pada pulau-pulau kecil kita ini. Nah, oleh karena itu kita concern berupaya menjadi bagian dari global dalam rangka penurunan emisi gas rumah kaca ini.
Margorukun Town has actively become Desa Kampung Iklim since 2017. At the moment, this town is a pioneer and pilot for creating other climate town in South Manokwari.
Margorukun menjadi percontohan sebagai kampung iklim, diharapkan bisa menjadi stimulan untuk kampung-kampung lain mengikut jejak dari Margorukun untuk menjadi kampung iklim. Dan itu terbukti di tahun 2019 ini terbentuk 6 kampung iklim lagi, yang kemudian 3 kampung diverifikasi pada tahun ini.
In energy utilization, villagers in Margorukun use homemade safe energy stove. Less firewood needed, but very high heat.
Irit kayu.
3 kayu sudah matang.
Sudah matang. 3 kayu ini sudah mendidih ini. Ya mungkin 10 menit ini baru saja, terus saya cuci piring tadi sudah mendidih. Irit minyak tanah, baru minyak tanah kan mahal, Bapak, susah dicari. Habis ini cari kayu-kayu itu untuk ini. Kalau pakai kompor juga minyak tanahnya banyak. Kalau pakai tungku begini kan irit minyak tanah juga.
Kelompok ini kita bekerja sama dengan anggota dan pengurus ini selalu koordinasi dengan masyarakat untuk bagaimana caranya tidak terjadi banjir. Sampah-sampah itu kita bersihkan dari parit-parit itu setiap hari Jumat kita kerja bakti. Jadi mereka punya kesadaran yang tinggi masyarakat ini. Jadi makanya tiap ini tidak ada banjir di Margorukun ini.
Not far from Margorukun village, there are well-kept beaches and mangrove forests. Villagers call it Oransbari Mangrove Forest. This mangrove forest has approximately 384.76 hectares. This is the largest mangrove forest in South Manokwari district.
Kabupaten Manokwari Selatan, ini kami lagi berupaya untuk nanti mendorong lewat SK Bupati Kabupaten Manokwari Selatan ke Kementerian Lingkungan Hidup, Kehutanan dan Lingkungan Hidup, sehingga kawasan ini yang luasnya 384,76 hektar ini bisa ditetapkan sebagai kawasan Tahura, Taman Hutan Rakyat, yang tentunya mempunyai manfaat sangat besar terhadap menunjang pro-iklim.
Tetapi sudah mengikut sertakan. Ya, di tahun 2018 kami sempat mendapatkan 3 kampung di Oransbari yang mendapatkan penghargaan dari pemerintah pusat.
Hopefully in the coming days, all villagers, especially in the South Manokwari and in general in the West Papua and in Indonesia, will be able to have more benefits from Kampung Iklim program. Sustainable nature, happy villagers, climate change effect is resolved.